Within this video, we are going to open up Visual Studio and create our first C# program. I'm going to start by clicking on the Windows icon in the lower left corner, going down and opening up Visual Studio that you've already installed on your machine. Once Visual Studio opens, we are then going to go to File, New, Project. From this main screen, you want to make sure that you are on Visual Studio C# on the left, and we're going to create a console application.NET framework. At the bottom, we're going to name our project First Project. Then you will notice with the location that Visual Studio defaults to saving this to a very deep folder sometimes. So I'm going to browse and I'm just going to save mine to the Documents Visual Studio 2017 folder. Then I'm going to press OK to start my first project. Now that we have our first project open, you can see that at the top we have different libraries that are added to our program. This is adding certain elements or properties that we're going to be able to access. Then you'll see that every project automatically starts with a class, and it's called Program for this example. Then we have a method inside of there that is called main. All of your starting code is going to go inside of this main for right now, and we'll be working in main for the next few chapters before we start working outside of there. So inside of our main, I'm going to make a little space. Everything must go between the opening and closing curly brace. So at the top, the first thing I'm going to add is using static system.console. This is going to allow us to type without having to add console dot in front of everything. Within our main, I'm going to write out our first line of code, and that is going to be a right line. So right line parentheses. For right now, you don't know what a variable is yet, so we are going to be using strings. So that is what the opening quotation and closing quotation are for. So inside of here, I'm just going to write hello class, and that will write hello class out to the console. The other piece of the right line that you need to add is a semicolon at the end. That lets the program know that you are done with that one line of code. Then if I were to do another right line, and again add my semicolon to the end, it will then write out ITP 130, welcome to ITP 136. There's another thing called write, which is like a right line. So a right line writes a line and breaks it to the next line. If you just do a write, so I say, I am professor, still put my semicolon at the end, and then I do another write. That will keep I am Professor Amanda Shelton all on the same line. So to run this code, at the top there is a Start button. If I click the Start button, it will begin to process my code. You'll see that flashed right before our eyes. This tends to happen, so I'm going to add what is called a read key. This will cause our project to pause until somebody presses a key to continue. So now I'm going to hit the Start button, and you can see it says, "Hello class." That was a right line. "Welcome to ITP 136. That was a right line. Then you can see I had a right and a right here. So "I am Professor Amanda Shelton" is all in the same line. When I press a key on my keyboard, that will close out my program because there's no code after this read key. So that is how you start a project and how you do a right line. My next video that I'm going to create is going to show you how to add comments to this project as well as discuss syntax errors.